Listen, today we're going to completely change the way you look at English grammar. Seriously. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the sheer number of tenses and confusing rules out there, believe me, you are absolutely not alone. But what if I told you that English tenses aren't just this random, giant list of strict academic rules you're forced to memorize? What if, instead, they operate exactly like a family tree? Well, let's just dive right into this. In this explainer, we are going to completely demystify English tenses by looking at them as a relatable, highly logical family hierarchy. By the end of this, you won't just be memorizing rules anymore, you're going to actually understand their ancestry.
All right, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to kick things off with the tense family tree, then meet the 12 grandsons, check out their shared verb forms, dig into their unique helping verbs, and finally, we'll actually build out some sentences.
Okay, part 1, the tense family tree. Let's meet the ancestors.
Look, here's the absolute bottom line. Tense is the bedrock of everything we say and build in English. It's literally the base of the entire grammar system. If you want to nail down the timing of any action in a sentence, you absolutely have to consult the tense. It is the core starting point where all of your meaning actually comes from.
Now, to make this click, we can actually personify this whole concept. Picture tense as a literal father, the head of this massive grammatical household. So father tense has these 3 main branches, his 3 sons. Present, past, and future. And, just like in a lot of human families, the father passed down his name as a surname to his boys. That's exactly why we don't just say present, we say present tense. We say past tense and future tense. They all proudly carry that family name, each one representing a totally distinct era of time. Moving right along to part 2, the 12 grandsons. Time to meet the new generation. So the family naturally grows, right? The 3 sons each end up having kids of their own. Present has 4 boys, past has 4 boys, and future has 4 boys. But, okay, here is where it gets fascinating. They all actually decided to name their 4 children the exact same names. No joke. Every single one of those 3 sons named their kids indefinite, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. It's this perfectly structured set of descendants that makes up the entire framework of our grammatical timekeeping. So do the math, and that brings our total to 12. 12 grandsons spread across the 3 branches of the family tree. But, and this is a huge but, so pay close attention here, even though the present branch has an indefinite grandson, and the past branch also has an indefinite grandson, they are entirely different people. They have completely different jobs, faces, and identities. Sure, they might look kind of similar on paper because they share a first name and that tense surname, but how they actually function in a sentence, that is entirely unique to their specific branch of the family.
All right, part 3, the shared verb forms. Let's look at their inherited traits.
You can imagine, with 12 grandkids running around, things could get pretty chaotic. So, to make this massive household function smoothly, the grandsons made a very logical agreement to share a limited number of tools, specifically their verb forms. Instead of every single kid having a completely different verb format, they grouped up. All the continuous boys from the present, past, and future branches, they got together and said, let's all just share verb form 4, which is your base verb with an ing attached. Then the perfect cousins looked at that and went, all right, cool, we'll take verb form 3, the past participle. Meanwhile, the indefinite boys mostly just stuck to verb form 1, the base form, though full disclosure, the past indefinite does occasionally pull out verb form 2 for his positive sentences. But overall, it's just this beautifully organized, logical division of labor.
And honestly, this brings up such a clever compromise made by the very last group, the perfect continuous grandsons. I mean, their name alone is a dead giveaway, right? They're literally a mix of 2 identities. So you might be wondering, what verb form do they even use? Well, they looked over at the perfect tense and then over at the continuous tense, and they just struck a logical deal. They decided, hey, we'll borrow the helping tools from our perfect family members, but for our main action, we're going to adopt the continuous nature of verb form 4, the ing form. It makes perfect logical sense when you break down their family name.
Section 4, the helping verbs. These are their unique tools.
Now this right here is where each of those 12 grandsons gets his true, unique identity. While they share those main verb forms we just talked about, every single one of them has his very own specific set of helping verbs. If we look at the present branch, the indefinite grandson uses do and does. The continuous kid uses is, am, and are. Perfect claims has and have. Then you drop down to the past branch, and you've got did, was/were, and had.
And the future branch? They are actually the most unified of the whole bunch. They all agreed to feature the word will in their toolset. Will be, will have. Understanding this layout is literally the ultimate cheat sheet for figuring out exactly which family member is doing the talking in any English sentence.
But hey, come on, every family has got its rebels, right? The stubborn ones who flat out refuse to ask for help. So let's talk about the rule breakers, the present indefinite and past indefinite. When these two are just making simple positive statements, they refuse to use their helping verbs. Instead of putting do, does, or did in a standard positive sentence, they rely entirely on the main verb all by itself. For present indefinite, they just grab the base verb, form 1, maybe slapping an S or ES on it. And for past indefinite, they boldly stand alone with verb, form 2, absolutely no helpers allowed. That is, until things get negative or they have to start asking questions.
And finally, Section 5, building your sentences. Let's start constructing the house. Okay, so we've met the father, we know the sons, we've met all 12 grandsons, and we know exactly what shared tools and unique helping verbs they use. But having a family tree framed on your wall doesn't actually build a house. So how do we take this highly logical hierarchy and use it to construct practical, everyday English sentences? Well, let's look at the actual formulas. Think of this as your master blueprint. To build a standard, simple sentence, it's just plug and play. You start with your subject, you plug in the unique helping verb for whichever grandson you're dealing with, add their shared verb form, and end with your object. Boom, done. If you want to make it negative, the formula stays almost exactly the same. You just wedge the word not right after that helping verb. And for an interrogative sentence, when you need to ask a question, you simply grab that helping verb and drag it all the way to the very front of the line, right before the subject. It is so remarkably logical. Once you know which grandson's tools you need, you just drop them into these 3 core formulas, and the sentence literally builds itself perfectly, every single time.
So let's actually put your brand new understanding of this logical hierarchy to the test. Take a look at this sentence. He is playing. Based on the tools we're seeing here, we've got the helping verb is, and we've got verb form 4, playing, with its little ing attached. Which specific grandson in our family tree does this sentence belong to? I'm going to leave that one for you to solve on your own. But seriously, by viewing tenses not as a miserable list of rules to memorize, but as a structured, logical family, you are now totally empowered to decode and build literally any sentence in the English language. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and remember, keep exploring the hidden logic behind the language.